up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Bree.
And I'm Evan.
And this is Reality Check TV. Here's where we discuss some of our favorite reality shows to watch together as a couple. So if you love reality TV like we do, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we post a new review.
We're back.
Yes.
We are back.
We are back. I feel like we haven't done this in like months. And it's technically only been 2 weeks. But I swear, the way time is timing, it feels like we ain't talked to y'all in a long time. So much has happened. We've done so much. I had a birthday. Your girl entered her 30s. We went to Jamaica. I was traveling. I did some work, some community work in Ohio and in Kentucky. Like, we was traveling. We had our homecoming. Shout out to NCCU. Yes. What else?
Life.
And then just life. And then now we are in the holiday season. It's official. Somebody told me today that Thanksgiving is next week, and I argued them down. I was like, what are you talking about? We have 2 more weeks. They was like, no, it's next week. And then I looked at the calendar and I'm like, who put Thanksgiving next week? Who put that there? I don't understand. This is weird. I don't know what's going on.
That time stopped for nobody.
Right. I don't know what's happening, but we're back, y'all. We will tell you guys all of our adventures at a later date because we know that y'all are only here for one reason and one reason only. And that is to talk about the loves of the marriages in Huntsville. I'm going to be real with y'all though. I was thinking about y'all the whole time that I was away. Every time we were doing something, I was like, dang, I really hope that our viewers, our subscribers, they don't leave us. Like, we not being consistent. Like, I was really nervous. And I was also like, dang, like, I wonder, there might be some things popping off on Love and Marriage Huntsville. We ain't missed nothing. We missed nothing. The episodes that we watched, that we missed, were so boring, y'all. Like, they were so boring. Which was a good thing because I was like, oh, so we didn't miss much. Like, we didn't miss a lot. But we also was like, well, what are we going to talk about? Because I wasn't intrigued or inspired.
Talk about these fake ass storylines. Talk about Kiki on whatever she on. Talk about Tiffany messy ass.
Y'all, like...
Martell has risen. And he is back to cause more terror.
Yeah. It's the same old. I will say this. We're going to leave a couple of announcements towards the end of this video. And we're going to surprise you guys with something else this week. But just know, coming back from our vacations and dealing with all of our stuff and watching this episode, or these last couple of episodes of Love and Marriage Huntsville, we recognize that we need to switch some things up because we cannot rely on these reality shows to be reality and to give us something to work with. So we're going to make a couple of changes. Not going to give it all away. Just know there'll be a couple of changes. Because we can't keep going like this. They not doing nothing. But we gonna talk about it with y'all. Anything else for the people?
No, I missed the crowd. I'm ready to get into this.
Yes.
Get back into the groove of things, you know?
Yes. Okay, guys. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get into it. Okay, so it's official. I believe that we are 3 episodes behind if we're going to include this past Saturday's episode. So, listen, again, there was a lot of fluff in those 3 episodes, so we are not going to go by order of events. Y'all know how we do anytime we miss a week. So we're just going to kind of name some of the key topics, things that I don't care about. Let's start from the beginning. Things I don't care about. I don't care about Kiki's possible drug use. Is that mean? Is that mean?
Kiki is fishing for a story right now to survive on this show.
I know for me, from the first time that we met Kiki, it was just obvious that she wanted to be on the show. We get it. Okay. She wanted to be on the show, and I felt like she was going to make it that she's on the show by any means necessary. So if that means being her own cousin's adversary, that's what she gonna do. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I just don't care. I feel like Tisha's whole family, including Tisha, their whole makeup is to not be honest about what's really going on in their lives and who they really are. I feel like it's just all fake and fraudulent. So it's just making me not care. I don't know what it is. Like, you know, I have no ill feelings towards Kiki. It's just I'm very like, I have no feeling. And at this point, she's been on multiple episodes. And so I'm like, I should feel something. And I don't. I'm just like, wow, like, it's unfortunate. I hope she gets help.
I mean, let's talk about no purpose. Kiki's character is boring to me. Like, I think I take about 3 mental naps anytime she's on TV.
Okay, so after the throwing of the drinks at Kimmy and Maurice's house, everybody has to talk. Everybody has to talk for at least, it seemed like 6 hours, because the sun was up, then the sun was down by the end of these conversations about how Kiki's on drugs. You have one group of people that feel like clearly there's a drug issue, and those group of people just so happens to be the people that I feel like are always delusional about things, and that's the Scotts and their wives. So you have that side of the table that's like, she's on drugs. Mm-hmm. Then you have another group of people, the Stormies, the Mells, Tisha's other cousin. I think this is a cousin, or maybe it's a niece, but her name is Courtney. You have them that's over there saying, like, you know, I'm not getting those signs. It's clear that there's something else going on. You know, you shouldn't be so quick to label her a drug addict. We don't know that to be true. She's already said that she's not on drugs, blah, blah, blah. So they just want to talk about this for a good 6 hours. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt about it, right? The only main takeaway from this conversation that I got is Marceau gets enjoyment out of playing the villain. He wants to be a villain so bad. Like, and I don't know if he like... No, I do believe that he goes in every conversation, especially with women, to be the villain. Like, he likes it. Like, when the episode with the throwing the drink and they were breaking up the men, meaning Kiki's husband and Marceau, who was also running away, behind people, and running his mouth. You could when they're dragging Kiki and her husband out of the house or out of the backyard, Marceau still has his cigar, and he's just sitting there smoking his cigar, or standing there smoking his cigar, smiling. Like, I don't know if y'all peeped that, but he gets enjoyment out of that. I think he's also like, you know, I'm making a good show, and I love to be hated. Like, it is what it is. Like, I like it. That's why he goes out of his way to, you know, take his digs when, like, it's not even, you know, necessary at people. And again, specifically women. That's his thing. He gets a kick out of it. And he confirmed it at the table when Stormy, Marceau, and everybody else was talking about Stormy calling him a bitch. And all of the guys, meaning Martell, Marceau, and Maurice, I feel like they go into this, you know, what they normally do with the whole bros before hoes thing, that very elementary 80s mindset. And basically says that Stormy was out of line for calling Marceau a bitch because she was also putting Courtney in a situation where now he has to step in or he has to fight. That I feel like that was their logic. Mm-hmm. So I bring this all up to say, because none of this, I don't care about any of this and none of their opinions about this, because Marceau is a bitch. So it doesn't matter. But I'm bringing this up to you, and I felt like this would be a good topic for us to talk about, because they talked about it for a while as far as when is it okay to stick up for your wife, partner, whoever, mm-hmm. if you feel like if they are out of line, right? Kimmy's whole thing was, what is Kiki's husband's name? Nasir?
I have no clue.
I don't know either. But her thing was, he should have dragged her out, or he was fully responsible for how Kiki acted mm-hmm. as her husband, right? I disagree with that. I don't agree with that.
That he was responsible?
I don't feel like he was responsible for that. How would he be responsible for that? To me, I just don't, I don't feel like, no. To me, I think that he did exactly what he was supposed to do once Marceau got up and then he was running his mouth. Of course, you're going to defend your wife, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we all have agreed, and we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. We all know that Kiki was completely out of line for taking that situation where it went with mm-hmm. throwing the drink. Because at the end of the day, Tisha really didn't say anything, right? And I don't like Tisha, but in that moment, she didn't say anything. And it did feel like it came out of nowhere. And that wasn't the way that you handle things, especially as a grown woman, as a grown adult. That's not how you handle things. So we can agree with that, right? But whether right or wrong, do you check your wife? Because I feel like the men are always hell-bent on checking their wives or having people check their wives in front of a group of people.
I feel like not just checking. I feel like when it comes to any time you need to have a conversation, man or woman, it should never be in front of people. It's easy to be like, hey, come me to the bathroom or come me to the car or something like that. Mm-hmm. Have that conversation. Don't embarrass somebody in front of people, and don't have it in front of people letting them in your business. Number one, there's a time and place for everything. Some things can wait and some things can be addressed then and there. But if they need to be addressed then and there, you guys need to go walk away. Don't do stuff in front of people.
So at what point do you feel like Kiki's husband should have pulled her away? Or do you feel like he should have pulled her away?
To be honest with you, it looked like he was over there cooking, helping with cooking or whatnot, while she was over there at the card table. So is it fair to say that he even knew what was going on at that table?
Right.
To be honest.
And that's why I said I don't feel like he's responsible or should have been the person.
He didn't know she was choosing violence that day.
Right.
And so for him, I don't think everybody else noticed what was going on unless you were at that table mm-hmm. when Kiki flipped the cup.
Right.
Other people were over there by the back door
right.
sitting, eating and whatnot. And I don't feel like everybody else knew what went on until Letitia walked that way and said to Kimmy mm-hmm. about, either she need to go or I need to go. And that's when everybody else kind of got word of what was going on. Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me Kiki's husband knew what was going on, because I don't feel he knew anything until he heard Marceau saying stuff to his wife. Right. Which is when he popped off.
Right.
So when it comes to Kiki's husband, it don't seem like he knew shit.
Right.
So you can't say nothing about that. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, we crack a lot of jokes about Letitia and Marceau, but I will give it to them. They did not say anything. They, unless you're trying to feel they're being petty by not saying anything. I'll be honest with you. That situation, man, Kiki looked worse than anybody.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Not just that, not just you spewing stuff at Letitia and then talking about Marceau in front. You over here taking cards out of Stormy's hands and throwing her cards and stuff. Like
we agree. Kiki, let's remove Kiki from the situation, mm-hmm. right? Like completely, mm-hmm. like we know was she wrong. The whole mm-hmm. thing was just stupid. That's another thing. It was stupid. It was weird. It was unwarranted, and it made her look crazy.
Yeah, it really did.
Right? However, I disagree on how Tisha and Marceau handled it. More so Marceau, right? Because when it comes to this topic, as far as like when to stick up or when to handle your partner, your wife, your husband, whatever, I feel like as soon as Kiki came over to the table and she was on the shits, she was running her mouth and they continued to ignore her. I feel like as Tisha's husband, and the reason why we're in this situation, I feel like he should have done something as small as whispered to Tisha, be like, hey, let's go in the house. I ain't dealing with your cousin today. You know, like, let's go. I'm not fooling with this.
I saw the most. I know Letitia really, because like I said, she dodged the hug from Kiki.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, that's what sparked Kiki right there.
Yeah.
I feel at the most when Kiki came and sat down, due to they are family, I think the most that could have been said, maybe Letitia could have been like, Kiki, can we just talk another time? We're here at their barbecue. This ain't the place.
I don't think Tisha had to say anything.
I'm just saying at the most. I'm not saying she had to. I'm not saying that's what she had to do.
Stormy brings up that she has a friend that deals with addiction. Because I believe it was Marceau that brought her. He was like, you know, do you know somebody that's on drugs? Like, basically, how can you tell me what we're dealing with? Like, I'm telling you, these are the signs. We have been dealing with this with Kiki for years. So, like, do you know anybody that struggles with addiction? And Stormy was like, well, actually, I do. And it's my best friend. And she used to watch my son. And Marceau keeps poking. And then Stormy just starts breaking down, crying. You could tell that it is still a little fresh, whatever is going on with her and her friend or her friend's addiction. And when she starts crying, that's when Marceau's like, Stormy, like, nah, I'm sorry. And he comes over to her because she walks away from the table. He comes over to her and apologizes and says, sorry, like, I didn't know this. And like, it's like all seriousness, all jokes aside, I wouldn't play like that if I knew there was, you know, your friend was struggling with addiction. And all that scene proved to me is that unless a woman is crying and he feels like you're no longer battling with him, that's when he shows some type of empathy for you. I just don't like Marceau, and I feel like he gets a rise and he is entertained by getting on people's nerves. It's specifically women, and trying to see how he can break them down. And it was just in that moment where it's like, see, it's like you play too much. Everything is a joke to you. You think you know everything. And look at what you do. Like, you're triggering someone because you don't know what they battle with. You don't know what people are going through. That's why you shouldn't play with people like that. That's why you shouldn't be running your mouth the way you do. So just to go on from there, let's talk about more things that we don't care about. Okay, I don't care about Maurice. I don't care about Maurice getting Kimmy a Jeep. I don't care about that as a sign, I guess, to make up for all of the emotional abuse that he does throughout the year. So that didn't make sense to me, but okay, have fun with your Jeep. I don't care about Courtney and Chris possibly being related and doing the DNA test. We don't care about that. I also don't care about nothing that Martell says. I don't care about his opinions on anything, about who should stick up for who, and I don't care. I don't care, Martell. Why? More things I don't care about. I don't care about Kiki talking about Tiffany. I don't care. I don't care about Tiffany talking about Kiki. Don't care. I don't care about them moving, meaning Kiki and her husband, moving to a different school district, all because their oldest son, I'm going to assume, wants to play football for this other school. I don't care. I've always felt like that was weird behavior, and I feel like we've talked about that subject on here before.
We talked about that with Monster and Maurice.
Yes, and how I am weirded out by this country's obsession with football, and
well, it's not the football portion. It's the parent. The parent is the leader, and for them to be irrational when they have other kids. Remember, they're moving their other kids too from schools that they.
Oh no, it's about that. But let's not. This happens all the time. around football. This country has a very unhealthy, weird obsession with that sport specifically. And it is what it is. So if you want to uproot all your other kids so that this child can play football over here, I will never understand that. But go ahead, go off. But I don't care about that. Anything else on those things that we don't care about? Okay. That episode did end with Mel meeting Kiki and her husband at their storage unit because, again, they're moving because their son got to play football. Well, Mel comes with a drug test. Kiki takes the drug test to prove that she is not on any type of drug and has been clean for years, whatever. She passes the drug test. Again, this is an arena I don't know nothing about, right? Because I'm thinking like, well, what I do know is that there are some drugs that can get out of your system or won't show up in a drug test, an at-home drug test.
No,
right?
a lot of the hard drugs you have to actually go to a clinic for that.
Yeah, like I do know that much. But okay, whatever, go off. Again, I don't know if Kiki is on drugs. I don't know. If she is, I wish her the best, and I wish that she gets the healing and the help that she needs. And if she isn't, I hope that she gets the healing and the help that she needs. Period. That's where I leave that at. But anyways, so that's how that episode ended. It was boring. We get to the next episode, which was last Saturday's episode. Not this past Saturday. But 23, episode 23. We gonna say that that's what that was. And more stuff that we don't care about. More stuff that was just kind of like pointless. Again, in this episode, Kiki and Stormy meet up and they talk about how Tiffany did an interview with Carlos King where she basically was throwing shots at Kiki and saying she's not good enough to be on a show with the rest of them and just throwing underhanded shots. That's what Tiffany does. Tiffany is a white lady.
But I agree with Stormy that whatever little clip we saw on the show seemed hard. Like Stormy in the comments saying it was hard to watch. It was cringy because pretty much you're hearing somebody talk about somebody else like they're better than them. Yeah, and like it's kind of a bully. It's kind of bullying. Like you feel like they don't belong. No matter what the hell Kiki do, it's like you still don't talk how Tiffany talked about somebody else. Like
I honestly don't feel like Tiffany said anything on Carlos's show that because Stormy said it was hard for her to watch.
It did seem hard to hear.
Really? You felt that way?
Because it was just one of those things where
I feel that way.
Despite Tiffany knowing what Kiki has going on, drug abuse and all that stuff.
That's not confirmed though.
Okay, well whatever. My thing is this. It's just one of those things where Tiffany took it upon herself to throw shots in an interview. I don't know if Kiki provoked her before that. I don't even know when the last time they talked. It seemed like they haven't talked in a while ever since before that. But I just felt like it was unwarranted shots that didn't need to happen.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I feel like anytime that they have been in the same room together filming, they have taken shots at each other. And I think Kiki has also used those opportunities to have a moment. And she recognized in order to really be on the show, like you're gonna have to argue with someone. And I feel like Tiffany was the easiest, person to do it with, because Tiffany ain't really interested either. So it just worked. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like one is worse than the other. Tiffany's messy overall, right? Like she's very condescending. She's passive aggressive. She has this air about her. She has this air about her a lot of times that isn't likable. And it does come off messy. But when it came to that interview, I'm like, did she say anything that really, really warranted that to me? I don't know. It just didn't. I didn't feel like it was that deep, but okay. Opinions. So yes, Kiki and Stormy talk about Tiffany or the rumors that are spreading about Tiffany talking about Stormi's business. This is what Kiki's telling Stormi. And so they just talk about all of that. Again, we don't really care. We don't care. But Stormi was able to meet up with Tiffany in her cape. Tiffany, I need you to stop wearing those capes. Does she have a cape in every color? It's very matronly. It's very old. Like, I don't like it. Like, stop. No style. I don't like it at all. But she keep wearing them. So they have a conversation. Stormi is trying to get Tiffany to understand, like, hey, like I did, like Evan just said, I saw your Carlos King interview and it was hard for me to watch. Like, it just seems like you keep poking at Kiki and, like, you know, did you say anything about her child going to another school district to play a sport or them moving? Did you have any comments about that? Tiffany denied saying anything like that. But then Tiffany felt like, okay, like, is this you being messy? Because you met with her already. You already had a conversation. Is this messy, Stormi? Or Stormi trying to stir the pot? Or is it you really caring? Stormi didn't like that too much. Stormi was like, nah, don't play with me like that. She switched up real quick.
Stormi switched up real quick now.
Stormi switched up real quick. All right, she said, don't play with me like that. And so then she finally was like, come, like, let's sit down. Let's have a conversation for real. I just feel like both of y'all are taking shots. Yours are just a little bit more sharper to me. And I think y'all need to have a conversation. Tiffany agrees that she will have a sit down with Kiki. And so that's their little drama. That's all y'all gonna get from me. Because that's all I remember. Because I don't care. I'm not invested into their drama.
Not with them two characters.
I just don't care.
Not with them two.
I don't care. Okay, more things that we don't care about. And that is the relationship between Marceau and his wife. Again, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. There was a point where we have a scene with Tisha and Marceau talking in their bedroom. And, of course, they're talking about what happened at the cookout and their disappointment and their hurt and their frustration with Kiki. They did make it clear that there is an obvious history with Kiki and them two, right? Especially during this time period where she was dealing with addiction. And Marceau brought up that, you know, it was us that would pick her up off the side of the freeway in the middle of the night. Like, we was there for her more than anybody else would ever know. And I get that, right? Like, when it comes to family stuff, like, I don't think that they're lying about that. I don't, right? I get that. The problem is, the only reason why we know about Kiki having a drug issue, I have to bring this back up, is because of Marceau. Marceau, a couple of seasons ago, he is the one that put that out there because he made a joke years ago to the Holtz, the used to be Holtz, about how y'all need to hide your pills if Kiki coming in the house, and he thought it was funny. And then it was brought up at a reunion. And that was Kiki's biggest issue, is like, you was telling these people that I didn't know at the time my business, and you was making a joke and like you was making light out of it. So I just want to make that clear too. I just jog people's memory. That's the only reason why we know about Kiki having a past drug issue. Okay. And why she came on the show automatically defending that. Like, I feel like her first confessional, that's what she was talking about, right, because of what Tisha's husband said. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like, does Tisha and Marceau do things for other people, family, friends? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know, like, yeah. But do they do it out the kindness of their heart because they love these people? Or do they do it so they can hold it over your head for later?
Right.
And that's my thing that I feel like I peeped a while back. I really peeped it when it came to the whole Nell and Martell debacle early on, where it just felt like you just want to have this information and you want to help because you want to be able to kind of look down at other people, can be like, I helped you. Mm-hmm. And then also hold it over their head so that when you're out here in these streets doing your dirt, there's an understanding that you're not supposed to say anything because of what I did for you, right? It's kind of like the mob. Like, oh my God. Like, that's what it gives. And we see that constantly between the relationship or the relationship between Martell and Marceau. It's clear that they still to this day, they have shit on each other. And the only reason why they're friends is because of that. It's not because there's like a genuine care and like loving like homeboy relationship.
Nope. It's because they got stuff that blow up both their worlds.
Right. And so on that level, I do completely empathize with Kiki. And I see where she's coming from because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And I do feel like because I've already peeped that there's clearly some jealousy between Kiki and Tisha. And I'm saying Kiki on Kiki's part. But I also feel like it's probably been years and years of them making Kiki feel inadequate and then them constantly bringing up her addiction.
It's a buildup.
Yeah. And so that's the only way to explain why she responded the way she did at the cookout is because it is a buildup. Mm-hmm. So I see that point of view. So their whole conversation in their room about like, oh my God, I'm disappointed and like I'm so hurt because Kiki thing and I can't let this person do this to me anymore and hurt me in this way anymore and that victim thing. You know, I tread real lightly with it because they're just not trustworthy to me. And I just don't know what their intentions are all the time.
Right. On
top of that, this is the moment where Marceau brings up, you know, you also have to hold yourself accountable, T. And he's like, let me give you an example. When Mel was trying to get feedback about the expo, it's like you wasn't trying to listen. And like he calls her out about it. But he's always going to do that, especially if it's about Mel. It is so fun. And I know Tisha hates it because he would even be on Mel's side in front of Tisha.
But I think, of course, despite the fact of his crush, I do feel that he knows Mel makes sense. So
yeah. No. I agree with that. I agree with that.
And so he knows he would sound stupid. I know the thing is with your partner, you're supposed to, in front of people, you either have their back in front of people, and behind the scenes you can critique.
He never does.
He's not going to do that.
Especially if it's Mel.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that.
He doesn't want to lose credibility with Mel.
He does not.
So, Letitia, you just got to go down the drain.
That's why she got an apology in front of everybody at their meeting or their little town hall meeting that they had because, like, he going to push it. Anything that he said to Mel, about Mel, or I'll say anything that he said about Mel has been mainly behind her back, him throwing the jabs behind her back. Once he gets in front of her face, he'll try to play it for a little while just to see like if he can get her all riled up because he likes it, because he's attracted to it. But then after a while he gonna back down because he gonna be like, nah, like, I love you, Mel. I actually want to sleep with you.
He comes to his senses.
Right.
He comes to
but
his senses.
It's just so sad because T, like, he will never have your back. Ever. It's just not going to happen.
I mean,
off.
There's levels. He's never going to have her back because he doesn't even know he has kids.
Oh my God.
Those are her kids.
Okay, speaking of Tisha, Mel, and Kimmy, they meet up to do a little workout session, right? And then even more, this is carrying over from the whole cookout, right? So Mel asks Tisha, like, are you okay? Since the cookout, they're trying to check on her. Tisha came into the little gym with kind of like really weird energy. You could tell that she didn't want to be there because she does not want to talk about what happened. Because after everything settles, after everybody goes home, and after we all talked ad nauseum about Kiki's possible drug addiction, now we're going to question, well, what was Kiki talking about? Mm-hmm. She brought up some rumors. Like, how did this even start? People are going to start to ask those questions. And that is where Tisha is going to check out.
I mean, she does it every season.
Every season.
When Marceau's, when his rumors come up about him doing his seasonal cheating.
Yes.
You know, it's every season. I don't want to hear about it.
Yes.
I don't want to hear about it.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. And Mel asked, she was like, well, like, so you still think that Kiki's on drugs? She was like, absolutely. She has all the signs. Again, deflect. She claims that there was never an incident before the cookout that led up to that. She's just on drugs. She's just so erratic. Oh my God, we don't know what's going on. And Mel's like, well, like, I met with Kiki and it doesn't seem like that seems to be the case. And she claims she is clean, and she did mention that there was some things that happened before the cookout that led up to this. And Tisha's like, no, I'm not doing this. Well, bye guys. I'm not doing it. She leaves. And Mel and Kimmy both are like, clearly there is something going on here that is still an issue that she is avoiding and doesn't want to deal with. And we're like, duh. Like, what? We're never going to talk about the fact that Marcel is cheating on her. No. We can never get to that point.
Marcel would be such a good PR person for a celebrity.
Oh, my God.
He has the ability to
deflect
questions and topics people want to talk about and somehow get it away.
Right.
That he should do his job.
Right. But this is only going to go but so far because I have said this from the beginning too. I really need Marcel and Tisha to either step up or get off the effing show because I'm done. Because it's no longer going to be acceptable where you can be on a reality show and you not talking about your reality. And reality is the rumors are all out there. So for even, I'm not talking about this, not talking about this. Then what are you talking about? Because you don't really have real businesses. So you don't want to talk about that, right? We can't see that. We barely see your kids, which is fine. Like I really respect that part. But you're not giving like family stuff. You're not wanting to film with the one family member that's on the show. Your mama got kicked off the show.
Thank God.
So what are we talking about? Y'all just stir the pot with everybody else? Like it's getting old. It's not gonna get old. It is old, and we're tired of it. So. That's that on them. More stuff we don't care about, and that is Martell. Martell and Nell. The Fletchers.
I've been told y'all about Nell, and now y'all just want to drink the Kool-Aid. I've been told y'all. As soon as they sat at that table at that baby shower for Tiffany, and Nell allowed them to talk about me, I told y'all Nell was flaky. And all she want to do is talk about that damn expo. Brought to the expo. All she want to talk about.
So, Saturday's episode starts off with Nell and Chris dancing in an empty bar. And they're talking about how they're the dancing couple. They love to dance. Okay. And I was like, okay, this is the introduction to Nell and Chris. It's clear that they are now going to be official castmates on the show because this whole episode was really about them. I will say, y'all, I will eat crow. I actually regret getting on YouTube and saying in one of these past reviews, hey, why won't they add Nell and Chris to the show? They've been here since day one, and it would be good to see that older couple.
You spoke it up and it happened.
I did.
I told y'all about Nell.
I did.
I saw right through the shit.
I did do that. And I think I might regret that. But we gonna see. But Nell and Chris, they talk about Nell's recent conversation with Martell. So in the episode prior to that, he came by the house to drop off his wine that don't nobody know about, nobody likes. Like
it's in Dollar General.
Is it? Because it's not. It's not in stores near you. But anyways, he comes there to just, rehab it. Nell thought it was necessary to tell him how, I did let Mel know that it wasn't right that she didn't speak to you at the barbecue. Nell, why? What are you talking about? Talk to him about what? Talk to him for what? I didn't understand. That pissed me off. Why? She also found it necessary to tell him that she was having her name change ceremony. Why?
And I'm telling y'all,
why did you?
Martell probably only knew from Nell. Nobody else mentioned it to him.
Right. it was like, why? And even my thing is, more than likely you'll probably see it on social media or whatever. Like, why did you find that to be necessary? Why does he need to know that?
Because just like that, just like that muskrat on her head, she is messy.
Cause the wig.
They messy as hell, man.
Cause the wig.
I'm very limited what I know about these weaves and wigs and shit. But let me tell you, that thing look like she went 12 rounds in a boxing ring. Terrible.
It was just like, girl, and I feel like she constantly, 2 episodes straight with this whole, we're not choosing sides. We're not choosing sides. And the one thing that I will agree with Martell about is like, yeah, you kind of are choosing sides. It's just that I don't think he's saying they're choosing his side, which they are. I feel like you're most definitely choosing a side, because for you to even bring up what Mel got going on to Martell.
And you know, they don't talk unless they have to.
Right.
As well as, you know, Mel does not want Martell knowing what she does, but you're giving him information.
Right. There was just no reason for her to bring up that Mel was having a name change ceremony. And her line of thinking, she brought it up because she was letting him know, like, hey, me and Chris are going, so just want to make sure that there's no problems with that. And yes, Martell did find it to be an issue because he's an immature, narcissistic asshole.
She honestly didn't have to say that.
That's my thing. Right? But in her mind, she wants to also be loyal to Martell, so that if he sees or finds out that they went and they didn't tell him, he would even feel a way about that. But that goes even more where it's like, why are you friends with Martell? Forget Mel. Why are you friends with Martell? If you are who you say you are, and you stand for the things that you stand for, and you have the moral compass that you have been promoting on this show since we met you, he represents everything that you're against. That doesn't make any sense. And what did I say earlier about Marceau and Tisha? It's the same thing with Martell. His relationships are based off of like what you can do for him and holding something over your head. Hence why his ass is still in Chris's house. I just feel like he takes advantage of people.
No, yeah.
And that's just like, so why be his friend? Forget Mel. Taking Mel out of the equation, what makes Martell a good friend? Because I haven't seen it yet. He's not even coming off as a good person, let alone a good friend. Like, people, especially women, they're big on this. And I say this all the time. I do not respect women that do not listen or pay attention to other women's experiences, or like disregards other women's experiences. And at the end of the day, this whole, I guess, idea that just because you're not a good partner doesn't mean that you can't be a good friend, or doesn't mean that you can't be a good parent. And I'm going to say I beg to differ. I feel like depending on how the relationship is and how toxic it is, it definitely can speak to the type of person that you are, what type of friend you're going to be, what type of mother you could be, or the type of father that you are. I really do believe that. So miss me with that whole conversation. That was stupid. I ain't appreciate that. But Nell told Chris that, you know, she feels like Martell did not take the news very well with Mel having her name change ceremony. And y'all know Martell did his old tricks, you know, what he always does, talking about, well, Mel cheated too. Mel cheated too. She cheated first. Now he's saying, she cheated first. You don't hold her accountable for the things that she does. And Nell is feeding into it and is like, no, I haven't asked her if she's cheated. Now, why even say that?
Yeah.
Why even say that? That was stupid. He, again, just feeding into his nonsense. So the conversation between Chris and Nell, and Chris did leave it with, like, I'm going to have a conversation with Martell because I don't appreciate him coming at you in that way, because he did get rowdy. And Nell felt a way about him coming at her rowdy. And she's also tired of him saying that they got to choose a side. And they have said repeatedly that they don't want to be involved. But again, I'm over y'all with that too.
So as y'all know, Mel is every bit over the top. I saw nothing different. I expected nothing less of what she did. She pretty much married her old last name. Mm-hmm. She reclaimed her time.
Yes, that's what it was.
Back to Melody Rogers.
Yes.
Mel had her opening where she walked down the aisle. You know, the doves and shit flying in the sky.
There was no doves.
The kids running with the candy. Oh, Mel.
Candy.
You know. Mel's just so dramatic. It's funny. But, you know, she read off her letter. She went in the front, you know, read off her letter that she got from the state or somebody like, was it the state or somebody like that? Something
yeah,
like
but then her mom also read that letter to her.
Yeah, I didn't care about that. But, you know.
I did. It was cute.
You know, Mel is happy to have her identity back. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what it feels like to still have the last name of somebody you despise, as well as you divorced, and you're really trying to detach from them as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So I know this was a big day for her, big weight off her shoulders. You know, congrats to her. But that ceremony was still dramatic as shit. It looked like she just had a bunch of close friends. Well, no, more family.
Yeah, more
but
family.
close friends.
Yeah,
very,
really close friends.
very, very personal.
Yeah.
And intimate. Y'all know where I'm about to go with this. Here comes the Grinch. You know, it's like I tell y'all this. Like, Nell literally came, sat down. She said, everybody's smiling. Nell seems so happy. She's glowing. I just know she's filled with joy. How can I fuck her day up right now? Let me go talk about Martell, her ex-husband that just had her in court. You know, her messy ass. And so, you know, Mel pulls her to the side. Nell pulls Mel to the side. If I was Mel, I'd be like, girl, this can wait. But she should have knew what was happening. Here go Mel.
Did not read the room.
Right. She's never going. She did, but I told you, she saw everybody happy. Right. So you know what she had to do. And so, you know, she pulls Mel to the side to tell her about her interaction with Martell. Talking about, I gave her this last name. She should cherish his last name. The Rogers done nothing with that last name in a nutshell. You know, pretty much in his dissatisfaction about her having this ceremony and her changing her name. Mel was not going to let that kill her joy. I know that annoyed her, but, you know, at the end of the day, she was like, you know what? Martell's not here. His spirit is not here. You know, her little, you know what she be saying. But to be honest with you, Nell was looking so stupid because Mel did not fall for it.
She's not going to.
She's not going to fall for it.
Because they keep trying, and Mel be out here dodging. She's not following. She's not falling for it. She has way too much class and integrity and poise and elegance about herself, and it's not going to be a thing. So I love the fact that she didn't allow that moment to take away from her moment.
But what's it to cap that? The ceremony looked nice. You know, we're happy for Mel. She got her independence back. Mm-hmm. She got her identity back. You know, now she can run it up with that Rogers last name. And I'm just waiting for her to wake up about Nell, little shrimp ass.
Hopefully when she watch these episodes back, like we are watching them back,
I want her to wake up because Nell on the shits, boy. She on the shits just like that thing on her head.
Well, one more thing that happened in this episode that we didn't really care about, but kind of care about, like, no disrespect, because I have been asking for more scenes about business, and I do appreciate Stormy being a part of this cast that has a real business, and we get to see she opens up a lot about her trials and tribulations when it comes to the ups and downs with her business, with Canvas. I do appreciate that. And so she was having a conversation with her recent or newly COO of the company, and they were just talking about how far Canvas has come, that she pretty much almost lost her house a couple of years ago because You know, people were taking advantage of her within her circle, which sounds like to me she probably had family or a close friend in her business.
Family.
Like literally in her business.
It's always family.
Yeah, and they, you know, I'm not for that. I think we talked about that episodes ago when she had her cousin and her aunt on there, and I was like, that whole family business thing get real murky. So you don't really want to do that. But she talked about, you know, they've come a long way. So hopefully things are moving in a positive direction for Canvas Beauty.
Right.
I do wish her nothing but the best there. And I really do have genuine respect for Stormy on a business level. Because I see what she's doing. And I know lately I have been seeing a lot of her ads coming across my social media. So big ups to Stormy.
So let's get back to this ghetto Last Supper.
That was a good one.
I don't know if y'all knew, both Nell and Chris came into the relationship with children, into the marriage with children, and then when they got married, they had 2 kids. I'm not gonna go by their children's names,
Right.
but pretty much they were having Sunday dinner. They invited the kids over, and it was a hot ass mess. Hot ass mess. It seems like, you know, they had this scene to kind of open up to show who their kids are and their relationship with their children, and it just seems like it's bumblefuck. Like, it's all over the place. I mean, you got one... Well, I guess... Okay, so let's talk about this. Nell, first we hear about her, I don't know the child's name, but pretty much one of her children worked for her.
No, that was the niece. I was just going to say. I was just going to correct that. So, yeah, they have the 4 children, 2 together biologically, and then they came into the marriage, like you said.
With each with a child.
Each with a child. And it's funny because he came in with a daughter. She came in with a son. And then together they have a boy and a girl. And then also, Mel... I keep saying Mel. Nell has a niece that she pretty much raised as well, her and Chris, that they're close to. Well, the niece used to work for her.
And it was probably at the daycare.
More than likely, because y'all know she owns that daycare. But she just recently had to fire her. They didn't say why she had to fire her, but she had to fire her. Well, Nell is feeling some type of way because Chris tells her, well, I heard like she got a new job. And then Nell's like, well, wait, she ain't tell me she got a new job. Like, why don't they ever tell me anything? So automatically we see that Nell's biggest issue is she feels like she continues to do, and her kids just take. But then also they don't come to her, and she don't feel like they respect her the way that they go to Chris and respect Chris. And so she's jealous of it. That's just what it is. Let's be honest.
And the kids did say it's because her reactions.
Right. And I'm going to get to why all of that is problematic. But the niece comes in, all the kids come in, and so Nell approaches her about it, like, yo, like, I heard that you got a new job. Like, you working? Where you working? Or whatever. She's like, well, yeah, I got a new job. She's like, I got fired from the last job that I got. So this girl, from my understanding, was fired twice, and they both times was recent. How recent? We don't know, but it was recent. So Nell asked, well, why you get fired from that last job? She was like, because of childcare, which also was confusing because I'm like, don't Nell own a daycare? So I'm like, I'm confused. But okay, go off. We don't know these people yet. So she's like, okay, so you got another job? She was like, yeah, I just started this new job. Girl. Okay, so then she's like, yeah, let's go talk at the table because we need to get to the bottom of this. Why y'all don't ever tell me nothing? And like you just said, they feel like they don't tell her anything because of her reaction to things. So then she get on her son, and this is Chris and Nell's son. So this is their youngest son. So she apparently, wait, wasn't his name Chris Jr.?
I have no clue.
I want to say his name was Chris Jr. We're going to say his name is Chris Jr. Well, Chris Jr. recently got locked up. Well, when he got locked up, he also had these dogs. he was gone for days or maybe even weeks. So the dogs was just there. So Chris and Nell had to go get the dogs. Come to find out, the dogs had an issue, so they had to take them to the vet. Whatever was wrong with the dog, the vet bill was like $3,200. $3,800. The dogs would have been left at that vet, but I digress. I'm not a dog person, but it is what it is. But they paid that bill. Then they had to pay to bail him out. So then she's like, well, listen, you not getting these dogs back until you pay back a little bit of this money that you owe us. Because I think the bail was $6,000.
Yeah, so he owes like $10,000.
Right. So you got to pay back something. And so Chris Jr., like, I mean, I don't understand. Like, that's not really like a fair trade. Like, I need my dogs back. And she's like, well, you need to give me some of this money back. And he's like, well, that don't make sense because I don't got my dogs. I was like, okay, so he's an idiot.
That whole conversation, like, makes you feel like... That whole conversation makes you really want to have a sanity check to make sure that you are not in, like, this warped-ass world.
That's why she blew up the way she did. But I was like, now you sitting there about to bust a blood vessel over stupidity, because this wouldn't even be an argument. Nigga, you not getting these dogs back until I get my money back. Enough said. You can feel however you want to feel about it. And my thing is you're complaining about you giving, and like bailing your kids out of trouble. Because all she did say was that I bail all of y'all out.
In different ways. And
we don't know yet, because this was a to be continued episode. So I'm pretty sure we're going to find out all of their family mess. But it's kind of like you keep doing these things for them and you feel like they don't respect you. So at the end of the day, I kind of feel like, well, then whose problem is this?
That's your fault.
Because guess what you can do?
Stop.
Stop. Because everybody at that table, because ages did pop up, everybody at that table was grown.
And that's what gets me. Like I said, Mel can't get Nell.
You see,
cannot be mad because you are enabling a cycle.
Right.
These are grown people. Let them figure it out.
Right. Because your ass will be sitting in that jail cell, depending on what you did. You know, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna ride it out with you if you are not in the wrong. I'm gonna defend you to the end, right? But if you doing some fuck shit, like, and it seemed like he kind of always in trouble. That's kind of what they was alluding to.
Yeah, it was alluding to that.
I mean, you gonna have to learn a lesson, especially once I bail you out. You coming to me talking about your dogs after I just flipped this bill. Yeah, nah. So, like I said, it was a to be continued episode. It seemed like they might give us a little bit of something. Evan didn't seem like he was too interested in them.
I don't care.
So I'm gonna be into it, y'all.
Y'all hear more from her about it. I don't care.
We gotta give him a chance.
You can give him. I'll give feedback. I'll let you do the journalism on that. Not me.
Y'all, that was pretty much it. When does this season stop?
I think there's got to be 2 or 3 episodes left.
You think? Because the scenes for this next week's episode, they still are not on their trip. Remember the trip?
That's why I said 2 to 3.
Damn, oh my God. It's so weird because it's like you be itching for Huntsville to come back, but then
because what I think could happen is that trip will be the second to last episode. Or if it's the last, they're going to cliffhang it to next season.
Because they already recorded the reunion.
Yeah, so I'll say 2 to 4. 4 is a stretch, but 2 to 3.
We'll be here next week complaining and reviewing the show because y'all love it and we here for y'all. We gonna have a good time, and I promise y'all we're not going nowhere else for the rest of the year. So we will be on time with the reviews. We ain't going nowhere else. And like I said at the beginning of the video, there's a little bit of a surprise for you later in the week.
We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for staying with us. The 2 weeks are over.
Yes.
We're promising y'all consistency now. We are good. We are staying put.
Yes.
But we do want to thank y'all for joining us on this ride for another episode of Reality Check TV. Be sure to watch this week's episode. We will as well. We'll be here to review. and give you a very entertaining review, as always. But y'all continue to hang with us and be on the lookout for surprises. And we will see y'all next episode.
Bye.